You're listening to the SmackDown RunDown on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Welcome everybody to the SmackDown Rundown here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Yes, it is I, the one and only Nikolai, and I am joined again by my co-host Jordan Garber.
How are you doing today, Nick?
I'm doing great. You know, it's the championship weekend in the NFL. We had SmackDown debut on Thursdays. It's just a good time to be a sports fan, in my opinion. How are you doing?
I'm kind of tired, but having a really long week. But all in all, I can't complain. Well, I can complain a little bit, but not a lot. But it's been a really good week. A lot of good things have happened. Recently finished an interview on Thursday with none other than Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, a former world champion.
That's awesome. Can't wait to get that posted up and people listen at that. Let's talk about wrestling, of course. And before we talk SmackDown, I just want to say how great it is for the Macho Man Randy Savage to finally be announced as the first inductee into the 2015 WWE Hall of Fame.
What a great moment for professional wrestling. It's always good to see the Macho Man Randy Savage inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are complaining that, it's been long overdue, and it's about time WWE, and you know what? Just be happy that he is going in. Yes, it took WWE a long time to put him in, but, in due time, it happened. We all knew that it was bound to happen. Just had to be patient. Here it is. Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hall of Fame bound.
Awesome moment for wrestling.
Indeed. I was a little skeptical at first because I didn't want to think that it was going to be a swerve or anything. I don't know why, but that's just what wrestling has taught us lately. Because it was announced. I first learned of it because I was watching WWE Network, and they did a little breaking news segment saying that they were going to probably announce, or it was like a teaser for the possibility of an announcement. It's like, how does that happen? Either you're going to or you're not. Either say he will be announced or don't even bring it up. But like, just to say Macho Man considered for the Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. We already know he's considered. Just make the damn announcement already. So that's why I was glad when they actually did announce him as going in as the first inductee.
That's the thing, too. I think they did that because they wanted to hype everything up and everything.
Yeah, just get people to watch the show later on because they hyped it up a lot before Raw even started.
Yeah, they did, indeed, and it was on TMZ and everything, too, so the thing got a lot of boost behind it.
Now, we had to sit through an insufferable episode of Monday Night Raw just to get to that announcement, and I have to say, Jordan, thank God you and I do not have the responsibility of hosting the Raw reaction, because that show in all of 2015 has been completely terrible. Thank goodness that we have SmackDown to talk about, because the debut episode on Thursday night definitely delivered.
Yeah, I believe that is true as well. I thought it delivered really well. And you hit the nail right on the head with Monday Night Raw. It isn't what it used to be in 2014, and they're off to a rocky start for 2015. So hopefully they can get things rolling again and get back to their usual ratings. But yeah, ratings have gone down for Monday Night Raw, and it's making people think wrestling ain't what it used to be. And hopefully Raw can continue to, well, not continue, but start to get a boost in ratings again and go from there.
Well, SmackDown definitely got a boost in ratings, which is a good sign because not a lot of people are home Friday nights, so that we knew that this was going to be a problem going into way back when SmackDown first debuted on Fridays. But the viewership has skyrocketed now that it's on Thursday, which is expected, and I think obviously is what WWE had hoped. SmackDown this Thursday had more viewers than last Friday.
Did they?
Yeah, that was the initial report that I read. I didn't see the Nielsen rating. I just saw the numbers, and it was a couple more million viewers higher.
Well, it's probably because they got a boost in ratings because Friday people go to indie shows or they're going to the bar. Well, wrestling fans are going to indie shows or going to the bar or hanging out with people. Or everyone. It's a Friday, right? Most people are busy, so it's good that they moved to Thursdays, and of course they're going to get a huge audience boost from putting it on Thursdays.
And back when this show, SmackDown RunDown, first started, I used to have a phrase, "We sacrifice our Friday nights so you don't have to." Now, SmackDown is back on Thursdays. Nobody has to sacrifice their Friday nights anymore.
No more sacrificing Friday nights. We, as well as everyone listening, can have Friday nights off, and they can do whatever they want. And they don't have to worry about watching SmackDown, so that's good. It's always good that it's a really smart idea that they moved to Thursdays, most likely. Pretty much for sure. I really like how they moved it to Thursday nights. That was a really smart decision.
Well, I have to retract, but unfortunately there are some people that are sacrificing their Friday nights, and that's for another topic, another time, for another wrestling company that has taken that time slot. But there's another show on this network for that, Impact Implosion. Check it out, AngryMarks. But anyways, back to the SmackDown. We saw the return of Daniel Bryan in the ring. Now, Bryan hasn't wrestled in about 9 months since his last match, and it was so good to see him back in the ring again, and not just in a promo, although he did start SmackDown with one, but he was telling us that he's in the ring in his gear, not in street clothes, not in jeans and a flannel shirt, but in his wrestling attire, because he was ready to fight. And that fight was against his former tag team partner, Kane.
Well, I like the match. It's smart how they got the fans excited because Kane, as you know, gave him a big beatdown before Bryan was out for 9 months. And to have that match against Kane was a really good starter. It got everyone engaged. It's a great opener to the show because they're thinking everyone wants Bryan, who's the babyface, to win over Kane after what Kane did, and not just beat him, but really, really beat him up. So I like that idea of having that first match on the show against Bryan and Kane.
Yeah, there was no suspense here. I mean, they just got right to it. You want Daniel Bryan, you got him. First segment of the show, talking. Second segment of the show, match. And there was even another commercial break. So you got the first 3 segments dedicated to Daniel Bryan just on SmackDown. But Bryan had his troubles because Kane wasn't alone. He had Triple H, Seth Rollins, Big Show, and both J&J Security were there as well at ringside. And J&J interrupted the match, causing a disqualification. So technically Daniel Bryan gets the win, and he gets the first win back in action.
Indeed, it was really good to see.
So Daniel Bryan actually escaped all the madness, and he was about to get outnumbered again until Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose showed up by his side. Okay, well, they were still outnumbered here, but Triple H booked a 6-man tag match for later on involving Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose versus Big Show, Kane, and Seth Rollins, which means that not only did we get Daniel Bryan back in action, but he's going to have a second match in the same show. So Bryan gets to start and main event the first Thursday night SmackDown.
They're really making him work on his return there. I did not expect that he was going to have 2 matches on the same show. It's not a smart idea. Yeah, he should just do what's normal and have one match a show. But why they got him in a second match right when he's fresh from injury, I don't know.
Well, it's not that. I don't see it as that bad because the first match was really a fight, and there were a lot more kicks and punches thrown, more kicks by Daniel Bryan, of course, but he didn't exert too much energy, I don't think, because Kane dominated the match. Pretty much 3/4 of the match, Kane was dominant, and just as Bryan was starting to get back into the zone, that's when J&J interrupted the match. So to put him in a 6-man tag later on, it also protects him because he's not in the ring the entire time.
No, that is true.
So this was a good opening bout. We move on to Bray Wyatt backstage, giving another crazy promo that he always gives. And he said you can only contain a poison of this caliber for so long before it starts to seep out of the cracks and it starts to contaminate everything they hold precious. After I win the Royal Rumble match, it will be too late to run. Accept your fate and follow the buzzards.
Every promo that Bray Wyatt does, he always knows how to engage to the audience. It's amazing. The man is a talent.
Yeah, his promos are always top notch and have a little bit level of creepiness to it, but it's just something that gives you chills, but you can't help but enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Following that, we had a 6-person mixed tag match. The Usos, who are the tag team champs, with Naomi, took on The Miz, Mizdow, and Alicia Fox. And it was announced that the Usos will be defending their tag team titles against Miz and Mizdow at the Royal Rumble. So there's another match for the pay-per-view. And we're only 1 week away from the Royal Rumble. Can you believe it?
Man, has time gone by quickly. I'm really excited for the Royal Rumble. Hopefully it's good. And of course you can get it on the network for $9.99. That is a bag of chips and a bottle of Mountain Dew, pretty much. Just 2 of those items per month from the network, and you get everything. You get all the pay-per-views. Say you want to see Scott Steiner against Triple H in the Royal Rumble 2004, I think it was. Was it 2004 or 2003? I don't know, but whatever. If you want to see any wrestling pay-per-view or whatever, and see all the upcoming pay-per-views, get the WWE Network for only $9.99.
And speaking of, the WWE Network shows up in the UK and Ireland this Monday.
Really?
That's right. So, UK fans, you will get your chance to watch everything in full on the WWE Network on Monday. And everybody will get to revel in the first live Royal Rumble pay-per-view on the WWE Network. This will be the first time Royal Rumble's live on the network. Definitely something you don't want to miss. Just think you could be spending $50 on cable or satellite or whatever, or you could just watch it on the network for just under $10
a month. Though that's the fine print.
That's right. It's to me, it's worth it.
Of course, it's worth it. If you have the crappiest job, you can still afford $10 a month. So,
that is true.
That is true. It's only $10, so that's a good deal. If it was $59.99 a month, I wouldn't get it, but.
Well, that's what people without the WWE Network will have to do if they order every single pay-per-view.
That is true. Some people do that, and that's what some people need to stop doing, is that the networks came out, and in Canada, I think it's $11.95 or $14. No, I don't know, but Canada, it's a little more. But there's some people that buy it on pay-per-view every month for $50. Now, what's 50 times 12? Honestly, I don't even know. Actually, let me check.
About 600.
Oh, 200?
600.
600. You're spending $600 a year on the WWE Network. That is just as bad as smoking. So, I don't know. I think you pay more to smoking, but so that's $600. That could get you a trip. Not far, but that could get you a trip somewhere.
And actually, I don't remember the actual price in the UK. I don't remember. I think it's £9.99 a month for them. I think it's pounds increment for them. But either way, the UK fans are probably the second largest, or I honestly don't know, but they're the third largest between Canada, United States, and UK, and then you got Mexico. So it's like those are your biggest markets right there.
Yeah, exactly.
UK has a huge wrestling fan base, and for them to not have the network all the way up until now, I mean, you're gonna watch the network numbers skyrocket when Monday hits, Monday morning.
Oh, of course.
So I think we've done enough shilling for the WWE Network here. I think because we all know WWE listens to the SmackDown Rundown, and I'm sure they appreciate the plugs that they're going to get here. But anyways, the Usos and Naomi took on Miz Mizdow, and Alicia Fox. And by the way, the new announced team for SmackDown: Michael Cole, Byron Saxton, and Jerry the King Lawler.
Well, the good news is that at least Lawler's doing pay-per-views, but I did not expect that move. But he has that diverticulitis, and I've had symptoms of it before, and it's awful. It is really the worst feeling ever. So they're trying to tone it down with Jerry Lawler a bit, I guess, and it's good to see that he's doing pay-per-views still, for sure. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler were the first announced team for the pilot episode of SmackDown. And when
That's true.
And when the series debuted, it was always Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler.
Wow.
Now, I think they moved Lawler over to SmackDown because maybe they can edit out some of his comments if they don't like it, but I don't know, because, King is up there right now, and we're in a different time, and he's still sometimes looked at as stuck in the past with all the old jokes and, outdated references and just the way he announces. But honestly, I like King, and I think it was a great change of pace from JBL, which you'll still hear on Monday Night Raw and on pay-per-views. But Lawler, I actually like one of the comments he said about The Miz during this match. He said he has a 10-foot ego on a 6-foot body. And that's Miz. That's true. Miz to a T.
Let me put it this way. Without Jerry Lawler, the WWE will not be the same.
No, and it wasn't the same in 2001 when he was absent.
Really, eh?
Because back then it was Jim Ross and Paul Heyman who had to fill in because the King walked out at that time, and he came back in November 2001. Because I remember it was Paul Heyman there, and Paul Heyman announced for WrestleMania 17 when Stone Cold teamed up with Vince McMahon against The Rock, and then you had the whole invasion angle, and we had Paul Heyman the whole time. And once the invasion angle was done, that's when King came back the next night on Raw. So that was it, back in 2001. And it wasn't the same without the King. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it was not the same without the King on Raw.
So to hear
another reason why Raw is continuing to go through that crap is that because they should have kept King on Raw, personally. But he can't do that because that's a 3-hour show. So they're in trouble right now with Raw. They got to change something.
Oh yeah, but if we talk about Raw, we're never gonna get to the bottom of anything because it's just so absurd over there. But luckily, SmackDown gets it right. Unfortunately, The Miz won the match, but it kind of still builds up the heat between the Usos and Miz. And also, I guess Naomi and Alicia Fox had their own little feud going on. So I like that this was incorporated with it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, did you notice that Renee Young had a new haircut?
Did she? I did not notice that.
Yeah, her hair used to go just slightly past her shoulders. Now it's not even touching. But I noticed that when she was
shortened it?
Yeah.
I don't like it when girls do that.
Nah, not my cup of tea. But I noticed it when she was interviewing Roman Reigns backstage. And for once, after a series of 3-4 weeks, when we had these cheesy-ass promos from Roman Reigns, he actually had a decent one that I can stand behind.
But, is it like a hardcore lesbian haircut, or is it just trimmed?
No, it's just trimmed.
Oh, okay, that's good. Because she had short hair, and she looked like our old realtor that we used to have, then, well, my old realtor, well, my parents or whatever, and that would be bad. I don't like it when girls well, actually, I'm not going to judge, but if girls cut their hair like guys do or keep it short or something, and they're hosting SmackDown, it's I don't know, right?
I think that was one of those completely random rants that you wanted to get off your chest.
Yeah, I can't picture that. You know what I mean? Renee Young with super short hair like mine, being on. It just doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, that's the way in wrestling it's got to be. If you're a woman in the business and you're on SmackDown, you got to be cute and you got to host, right? So.
Well, someone might find it cute.
No, it's all an audience demographic. I guess if people are watching from prison, then they'll like the short hair idea. But I guess for the normal fans, it's good to see.
I think we're digressing just a little too far. So let's just get back on track here.
Yeah, no problem. My fault there.
Roman Reigns had a much better promo than he's done in the past. Right? He said that meaning that night was the Rumble, then everybody involved in the six-man tag match would be in a world of hurt. He says Dean is his boy and has no problems with Daniel Bryan, but they have a common enemy, and that's the Authority. And he said, when it comes to the Royal Rumble, it's one versus all. Dean and Daniel fall into the category of all, and you're looking at the one. I think that was a really good promo.
That's really intense.
It's much better than his sniveling, sellout, suffering, succotash son that he said a couple of weeks ago or last week, whatever it was.
Yeah, when it comes to Roman Reigns, his promos are like Scott Steiner's.
I think they're trying to give him the little John Cena nursery rhyme.
Little John Cena thing. He doesn't sound like Scott Steiner's, but I mean it like that because Scott Steiner's promos. He has a history of being hilarious during all of his promos. And Roman Reigns, he makes me laugh during his promos. I don't know why. It's just his whole little outfit there, his whole little Shield uniform. Looks like some Army Ranger, and just the promo, they're hilarious. I don't know why. It just makes me laugh, personally.
Well, with the promo he gave on Monday Night Raw, talking about little beanstalk, and Roman Reigns climbed the beanstalk and chopped down the giant at the top. Really? I almost couldn't take it.
That's what I said. That's why some of them are funny. But yeah, no one will be a funny promo creator than Scott Steiner. That guy was hilarious on the microphone.
Yeah, either him or Sid Vicious, because you couldn't understand anything either of them said.
Yeah, he's Steiner on TNA. You done redneck? I give him an egg. You give him an egg. I'm standing up to your dumb redneck. Yeah, that's so funny. It's just so stupid. And he doesn't mean to do it. It's just doing it in character. It's so funny. It's hilarious.
I know. Speaking of promos, Paul Heyman came out and he was saying that he was actually scared for Brock Lesnar, and I don't think he really got into why he was scared. I think he was leading to the fact that Lesnar could lose his title without even being pinned or submitted, because it is a triple threat now involving John Cena and Seth Rollins. But Heyman just kept going on and on, talking about how Lesnar conquered The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. And he did it because he could, and because he felt like it, and because he wanted to. And then he dumped John Cena on his head because he wanted to, took the WWE title away from him because he could, and he had nothing better to do, and it was a Sunday night. And he started to talk about Seth Rollins. He said Brock Lesnar's purpose is to get his hands on Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble and F5 the future straight back into the past. Wow. And of course, that was very intense. And then, of course, Seth Rollins didn't want to stand in the back and listen to this. So he came right out to the ring, got right in Paul Heyman's face, cornered him, and threatened to curb stomp him. And then this was just a long conversation that went on. And eventually, Heyman said the Authority is in power now, but they weren't for a while. They have been removed once, and they could be removed again by hook, by crook, by board of directors, by Vince McMahon's whims. And he says that every day he gains power. And when Brock Lesnar took the undefeated streak from Undertaker, he gained power. When he took the WWE title, he gained power. And then he said something that made Seth Rollins really think about it. He said, Brock Lesnar can control that title by defending the championship, or he can protect the new champion when I decide the future is now.
Think about it this way. You look at Brock Lesnar and you look at his title reign, but doesn't his contract expire before the end of this year?
Lesnar?
Yeah.
It expires by WrestleMania.
It expires by WrestleMania. So it makes me think that, and I don't know, I'm not trying to give away a spoiler alert, but if his contract expires at WrestleMania, how is he's going to win it at the Royal Rumble and lose it at WrestleMania, then he's going to take some time off. That's my prediction.
I don't know. See, with Seth Rollins being added to the match and Paul Heyman saying that Lesnar can protect the new champion if that happens, then that really throws a cog in the whole plan, or at least in my mind, of if Lesnar could retain. Because I don't remember the last time, actually, like the last time Brock Lesnar was in a triple threat match, I remember Big Show and Kurt Angle being involved back in 2003.
Wow, that's a long time ago, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 11 years. Actually, no, now it's 12 years ago, so that's so crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, Brock Lesnar, since he's been back, has only been doing one-on-one matches on certain pay-per-views. Now he's in a triple threat match. This is interesting.
Very interesting. It's everybody wants to know how this turns out and what the outcome is. And I really like the elements of this matchup, the Royal Rumble, triple threat. It should be really entertaining.
Yeah, I'm actually very, very intrigued because before, when it was just Lesnar and Cena, it's like, all right, here they go again. And I think WWE knew that as well. And so all right, well then, let's throw Seth Rollins in there. So, okay. Seth Rollins is there now. Ooh. And he's got the briefcase. Oh, so if he loses, he can still cash it in after the match. This is interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I like that Rollins was added to the match.
I like that too. It adds more entertainment to the match.
And it puts him in that main event spot. And it gets you ready for him to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase.
Oh, yeah, exactly. If he loses and Brock Lesnar wins and he's literally exhausted, all Rollins needs to do is cash in that briefcase if he has energy, right?
Yeah. And the fact that Seth Rollins is in a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match on a pay-per-view is also saying something.
Exactly.
So, Paul Heyman really knows how to talk his way out of a situation.
Oh, he does, yeah. Heyman's one of the guys in this business that is really good on the mic. He's always been good on the mic. That's what he's known for, besides promoting ECW.
You know, it's amazing how he can just flip the script on anything, especially when someone gets in his face. And he pointed it out. He's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Go ahead and stomp me, so you can go around and say, 'Hey, everybody, I'm Seth Rollins. I curb stomped Paul Heyman. That proves I'm the future of WWE.'" I mean, he called Seth Rollins out as Rollins was in his face.
Exactly. It's just, like I said, it's just so entertaining to see this. And Seth Rollins has gained so much experience, and he's made his way up from the independents, and now he's continuing to gain experience throughout WWE. And each week we see him, he continues to get better and better.
Yeah. Definitely. So this is like the fun time, and why couldn't we get something like this on Monday Night Raw? You know, something that would get us on our feet and entertained about this. I mean, they wait till like the very last moment of Raw to give us something.
Exactly.
Especially with that contract signing. You know,
if they're giving you something at the end of Raw and throughout the whole other 2 hours and 50 minutes, they're not giving you anything, who's even going to watch that last segment because they've had enough, right?
Exactly. And that's what happened on Monday night. We had a contract signing for the triple threat match between Lesnar, Cena, and Rollins, and that was probably other than Macho Man being announced as an inductee to the Hall of Fame and Hulk Hogan, the guy is going to induct him, other than that moment, the contract signing at the very end of Raw was the best part of the show.
No, of course. Of course.
Because you had Cena put Lesnar through a table with the attitude adjustment, and then Seth Rollins hit the curb stomp on both Cena and Lesnar and stood tall. Rollins was a one-man standing out of Cena and Lesnar at the end of Raw.
Exactly, and that was like probably the only few good parts besides Macho Man getting inducted. But like that's the thing is like if you're totally bored of Raw, someone's gonna change the channel and they're not gonna change it back. So you have to not have your best match of the night on the first match, but you have to balance it out so people can continue to stay informed. Like I went to the show Thursday and Friday. But Friday in the main show I came in without any intent to interview anyone. I came in as a fan to the CWE, which is a local independent promotion. And the whole show did everything it was expected to. Every match was good. And then they saved the best two matches for last. That's the way it should be on every Monday Night Raw or every Monday Night SmackDown. The process from this Friday, at an indie show, which has a great following and good for them on 6 years, but like that's what Raw needs to do as well, is every match needs to be good, and then the last two matches need to be spectacular. Not pay-per-view quality, but spectacular.
I agree. So, after that intense promo segment, we had a Divas match. You know, it's nice to have one of those on the show every now and then. You had Natalya versus Nikki Bella, the Divas champion, in a non-title match. And after Brie tried to distract Natalya, she ended up distracting the referee as well. Paige got a little slap on Nikki, and Natalya put Nikki in the sharpshooter to get the win. So I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know maybe if they're going to put Natalya versus Nikki in a Divas title match, or if Paige is going to be in that title match. But they're really involving the two of them trading victories over the Divas champion.
Oh, yeah, of course. Totally.
You think maybe that they could possibly book this in a fatal four-way? Natalya, Paige, Nikki, and Brie?
That'd be a good match to see. I would add more value to the pay-per-view. I would do it. What do you think? Do you think it's going to happen? I don't think so, though.
No, because in my view, it's really between Nikki, Natalya, and Paige, but, you know, that's a second triple threat on the show. What I think would be nice to happen is if, say, AJ Lee shows up on Monday Night Raw, and then you add her, and you get that fatal four-way. AJ, Natalya, Paige, and Nikki. Maybe.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know, they'll probably do that now that they've listened to the show. But, you know, hey, happy to contribute, WWE.
Well, like you say, WWE does listen to Angry Marks because we brought up ideas and they used them after we said them, so you never know who's listening.
That's right. That's why I always try to keep a positive light on everything, which is why, like I said, I'm happy to be hosting the SmackDown Rundown, because there was nothing but good on this show. And we continue with the good with an Intercontinental Championship match on Thursday night SmackDown. After Sin Cara pinned Bad News Barrett last week, he gets a title match this past week. And this was a decent match. I mean, we saw Sin Cara powerbomb Barrett. Like, lifted him off the ground, like a deadlift into a powerbomb. That was pretty impressive.
What was impressive, too, is the finish, how it's just a good concept to finish, about basic finish, and it was well done. In midair, those are always fun to see. Barrett just hit him, boom, in the air, done. He retains the belt.
Yeah, I mean, I like that bull hammer, but when he hit that in midair, it's like, oh, you just got to jump out your seat. It was a short match, but it was good. I mean, it was nice to have a championship match on SmackDown, and it was for a good cause. It was the first SmackDown on Thursdays again.
Exactly.
So Wade Barrett's fans in the UK will be happy that he is still the Intercontinental Champion, and they'll get to see more of him this Monday when they get the WWE Network. Plug.
Exactly. I'm really excited.
I'm happy for them because we have fans, and Angry Marks has fans and friends in the UK, so I'm happy for them finally getting it.
For sure. It's great to see the UK getting it, for sure. Because, like, think of it, the UK is a huge market for wrestling. They love their wrestling down there, so it's good to see that they have it as well.
So, I kind of skipped over this, but, it kind of leads into the main event. Renee Young interviewed Big Show backstage. He basically took over the talking part of it and said he knocked out Cena and Reigns on Monday night, and says he will knock out Reigns, Ambrose, and Bryan in the match. And he also officially enters the Royal Rumble, where he said that he's going to throw out 29 of the men over the top rope, blah, blah, blah. Same speech that every single man in the Royal Rumble gives. And he said that no other man can eliminate him. How many times has he been eliminated? How many Royal Rumble matches has he been in? Because every single Royal Rumble match he's been in, he's been eliminated.
Exactly.
So, there you go. But Kane showed up and said, I guess you haven't heard, I'm in the Royal Rumble match too. And this,
people. Of course he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. I don't like it when they, except for Bryan's announcement that he was going to be in the Royal Rumble. Like, Kane comes out and delivers a completely useless promo saying that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. We get that there's 30 superstars. Like, the roster, active roster as it is, doesn't even have barely any more than 30 people. So, like, of course you're going to be in the Rumble. We get that. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, like, how, when you think about it, you hear all these guys say, I am entering the Royal Rumble. Like, what qualifies you in a kayfabe environment? Let's think about this. Kayfabe, how do you just say, I'm entering into the Royal Rumble match? Like, did you qualify for it? Did someone come up to you and tell you, hey, by the way, you're in the Royal Rumble?
It's not like maybe when they had that 45-man or 40-man or whatever Battle Royal on SmackDown, I guess you have to qualify for that too. Are they going to do a promo every week and have 45 guys say, I'm in the Battle Royal and I'm going to win? Next match, I'm in the Battle Royal and I'm going to win. Next match, come on, we get it. I don't like the little, I'm in the Royal Rumble and we get it. We know you're in it because it's common sense. If you're not in any of the matches on the card and you're not injured, most likely you're going to be in the Royal Rumble. Maybe if it was last year and Kurt Hawkins wasn't in it, I would understand. But, like, we get the point. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And there's a little part of me that was happy when Kane said that he's entering in the Royal Rumble, because this continues Kane's streak of Royal Rumble appearances. Right now, he's currently at 17. This year would mark 18th years in a row in the Royal Rumble match.
That guy's like 52, isn't he? He's old.
he's in his mid-40s.
He's in his mid-40s, and he's like still wrestling at a decent level. He's wrestling on Mondays, sometimes on the smaller shows, and then on SmackDown. So, like, wow.
Yeah, Kane is 47 years old.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And
like the next Ric Flair or something, like how old he is when he wrestles. But Ric Flair, he's a legend, so you always got to respect that. But Kane's a legend too. He's 47, he's still wrestling at a good level. Good for him.
Yeah, definitely. So you will be entering his 18th consecutive Royal Rumble. He's obviously in the history books because he's had the most. Even guys combined appearances, like Shawn Michaels, he's been in 12, and that's not even, actually no, that might be no, that wasn't even in a row, not even 12 in a row.
And also Kane set the record amount of eliminations in a single Rumble, which was 11.
That was back in 2001, and then Roman Reigns broke that record last year in 2014 with 12.
You know who I thought was going to win the 2001 Royal Rumble? The Honky Tonk Man, but he got out. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Drew Carey.
Oh, yeah. Honky Tonk Man or Drew Carey, last two in the Rumble.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Royal Rumble has always been one of my favorite pay-per-views.
I love the Royal Rumble because I like the surprises, too.
Yeah, and it's so unpredictable.
Who do you think's going to make some surprise returns? Any predictions?
honestly, I don't have any predictions right now. You'd have to ask me in a week, right before the pay-per-view.
I have a feeling Jake the Snake's going to be in it.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, he was campaigning to be in it last year. He didn't exactly make it, so to be in it this year would be probably his all-time goal.
I have another feeling that the Goon's going to return. I'm just kidding.
Who?
The Goon. Remember him? He had the little hockey ski, wrestled with skates, and he was on the old Raw, and he had this horrible music, and he was this hockey fighter, and that was his whole gimmick.
Who?
The Goon.
Who?
Okay.
Wild Bill Irwin.
What about Lance Cassidy? Remember him?
I do not.
That is Steve Armstrong. I think he's related to B.G. James, who's known as Road Dogg, so Lance Cassidy should come back for sure, too. He got a promo for me once. That was awesome.
Lance Storm would be a nice surprise.
Although
he retired.
Remember his 2002 theme? He had this Law and Order music. It was so boss. Awesome.
Oh man, good old times.
I remember playing SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, that old video game. Since SmackDown RunDown, we'll talk about SmackDown history. And I played against Lance Storm, and I always used to hate playing that game against Lance Storm. He just pissed me off. I don't know why. It was funny though.
Probably had experience points of 90 or above.
Yeah, that guy's beast.
Well, let's get to the main event of SmackDown with guys who could be considered under experience points high up there in the 90s. Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane versus Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. I'm just going to say this was an awesome match. A lot of excitement. You had your usual face in peril, which was Dean Ambrose. They just attacked his leg over and over. The heels did a good job working on the leg before he made the hot tag to Daniel Bryan, who just lit up the place, flying all over the place, backflips, suicide dives, drop kicks. He did the yes lock. He got hit with a choke slam. You saw Roman Reigns take out Big Show on the announce table. Dean Ambrose took out Seth Rollins. Daniel Bryan hit the running knee for the 3 count. I mean, this was just a really exciting and fun match.
Yeah, a really exciting and fun match, for sure. It was kind of long, but it was really effective. I liked it. Definitely
a really good ending to the first Thursday night SmackDown.
Great way to kick it off. And they got new graphics, too, eh?
Yeah, and a new logo,
They got a new logo? I didn't notice that. I noticed the new graphics, though, they had.
Well, the logo is kind of the same. It's just tweaked up a little bit. The opening video is different. The music is different. And some of the font, the lettering is definitely different. So they have a whole new look.
Well, it's always good to have a new look once in a while.
Especially when you're debuting something new or fresh.
Exactly, yeah, on a new network.
Well, no, it's the same network. It's just a new night.
A new night, exactly. Sorry, my apologies. My mistake there.
It's all right. But, yeah, the celebration really didn't last long for the faces because Triple H came right out, said Daniel got lucky tonight, but his luck's going to run out. Next Thursday on SmackDown, Kane gets a rematch, and Triple H told Bryan that you're not only going to lose the match, you're going to lose your opportunity to compete in the Royal Rumble match.
Then this whole Royal Rumble match and competing, I don't get. They need to stop doing this whole little shtick here.
Well, they want to do anything they can to stick it to Bryan.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And Bryan is ready. Bryan knew this was going to happen. He's ready for it.
He's ready to deal with this crap.
Yeah. He's used to it by now, especially last year.
Well, exactly. And it's going to be good to see. Do you think we're going to see shades of what happened last time? Is there going to be a Bryan and Authority feud? I don't know, but last time he won the feud, as far as I actually know. He got hurt, but he won the title, so I guess
yeah. he won, just had to he just got hurt, but he did win the over the Authority.
He did. Is that kayfabe too? Because if he was attacked by Kane, like, he was supposed to come back the next week, but I guess he accidentally hurt his neck or something. And then the tragic news that he had. So I guess it was just unfortunate luck of the draw, and he had to take some time off.
Well, the Kane attack was kayfabe, but Daniel Bryan suffered a stinger when he was in a match against Randy Orton back in 2013, or was it early 14? I don't remember. He had a series of matches against Randy Orton. I think it was towards the end of 2013, and he suffered a stinger in the match, and I think it was based off of that.
Yeah, and it just got worse.
Right. It just progressed worse. But Bryan is back. He had 2 matches on the first SmackDown on Thursday nights. He won both of them. The first one, disqualification. The second one with a 3 count. And he gets to be back on SmackDown next week.
Which is really good to see.
Can't wait. So that's it from SmackDown. What did you think of the show overall?
I'll give it a 10. I thought it was really good. Good way to kick it off from the new network.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, everything was fun. I had no complaints whatsoever from this show, believe it or not. Maybe except for The Miz getting the win, but, that's what they want. They want us to get mad about The Miz winning. So they succeeded. They succeeded there. But yeah, no complaints whatsoever from this episode of SmackDown, which is why I tell everybody that sits, whines, and complains about Monday Night Raw, just tell them, watch SmackDown. It's so much better.
It is.
No headaches over here, no ridiculousness, great promos from the top stars. 2 hours. Yeah.
I think that's what Jim Ross said on a podcast, too, is that it's pretty hard to watch Raw with commercials for 3 hours, especially if Raw is not doing so good that week.
That's exactly right. Wise words from a wise man.
Exactly.
So, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of the SmackDown Rundown. Jordan, do you have any last words before we close out the show?
Next Saturday on Jordan Garber's World, I'll say this is the biggest interview I've ever done. It's not long, but it's a brief interview I did with Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, 4-time world champion. Huge news. Next week on JGW on AngryMarks.com. That has to be huge for the network. So you got that. Continue to tune into the SmackDown Rundown. Want to listen to some archived stuff I've done? It's on WrestlingWorld247.com if you're bored and you want to look back through my stuff. Most of it, at least. Thursday night AMP, I still do every Thursday. And pretty soon, like I heard, Nick, that we are switching to Thursdays soon. Is that correct?
It's an avenue we are checking out. It's, we want to keep up with the times. SmackDown moved to Thursdays. You never know. It's still in progress.
Still in progress, but like I said, we'll continue to keep you updated throughout our news. Oh, and you can't forget this. Of course, follow me on Twitter at Jordan J. Garber.
That's right, and keep up with AngryMarks.com for all the latest news, rumors, podcasts, editorials, recaps, everything else in between. Keep in touch with Angry Marks on Facebook and Twitter, and find me on Twitter at Nikolai, Nickolye. And we'll keep continuing to bring the SmackDown Rundown to all of our fans who hopefully enjoy our show. Can't wait for the Royal Rumble next week. Monday Night Raw has its last chance to actually get us excited for it, but I have faith that SmackDown will do just that next Thursday. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the SmackDown Rundown. For my co-host Jordan Garber, for producer Killer Kev, this is Nikolai telling you we'll see you next time.